Okay, hi, this is Mrs. Robertson, and today we are going to do Chapter 6, Lesson 2. Now, this lesson is not in your math book. You will not need to bring your math books during this chapter because it's in Volume 2. But we don't want to give you the Volume 2 of your math books at this time. We're going to do it probably after Thanksgiving at that time. But we want to do this chapter before we go back and do the earlier chapters because it makes more sense to learn about equations. And the next chapters you're going to do will include equations. We need to make sure you know how to do equations correctly. Now, there are a few things you need to know before you take on the equations. It says, use the division property of equality to solve multiplication equations and the multiplication property of equality to solve division equations. What do these properties stand for? The division property of equality states that if you divide each side of an equation by the same non-zero number, the two sides remain equal. It's balancing the equation. The multiplication property of equality states that if you multiply each side of an equation by the same number, the two sides remain equal. In other words, you are balancing the equation when you are using these properties correctly. So let's look at example 1. Kids, I want you to rewrite this example over here to the right. 30 equals 6 times x. When a number is next to a variable, it means to multiply. Your job is to isolate the variable. Yes, we all know the answer is 5, but this is all about your technique. So in algebra, to show division, you use a bar. This bar means to divide. So we are balancing the equation. You're dividing both sides by what? The 6. So you divide by 6, divide by 6. Cancel. 30, bring down your equal sign, line it up. 30 divided by 6 is 5, and all you have left is your x. X equals 5. It's called isolating the variable. All right? Now, there is a check step that you're supposed to do. You replace the x with the 5. Does 6 times 5 equal 30? Yes, it does. Now, sometimes these are easy that you can do in your head mentally, and you just do a check that you go, yeah, 30 equals 6 times 5. And if you just want to do a mental check, that's fine. If you're going to get a point for your check, I'll let you know. Like sometimes on your quizzes or on a test, you get points for showing the check step. I'll make sure you are aware of that, okay? Make sure you know how to do a check step, but I really think that at this level you don't have to do the check step on every problem. Okay, especially this easy. Now let's look at example 2. Yep, it's getting a little harder. We are using integers here. So in this problem, let's rewrite it over here. X divided by -5 equals -2. I hope you all heard what I said. X divided by -5 equals -2. Your job is to get x all by itself. What will undo dividing by a -5? Yes. Not adding, multiplying. And we show multiplication with a parenthesis now. Okay? And we are multiplying both sides by a -5. Are you writing this down? No. You should have multiplying by -5 using parentheses. Cancel it out. Now you have x equals negative times negative is positive 10. Now, 10 divided by a -5, does that equal a -2? Yes, it does, and you put a check. Any questions? All right. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to do these together, and then I'll tell you what your classwork homework is going to be. All right, so let's get going on the problems. Here when it's written like this, you can just, to undo multiplication, you're going to divide both sides by a 3. See how I did that? I'm not going to make you rewrite the problem. X equals 4. 3 times 4 equals 12. Yes, it does. To undo multiplication, we're going to divide both sides by a 9. K equals negative 40. 9 times negative 40 equals negative 360. Yes, it does. To undo multiplying, I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 15. A equals negative divided by negative is positive 3. Does negative 15 times a positive 3 equal negative 45? Yes, it does. Any questions on the first row? Yes. I have another person with a broken. Just do the best you can on these. I understand it's going to be a little hard for you with a broken arm. I'll have to find out what happened later. Now, in problem number 4, in this row, this says negative 2 equals b divided by a negative 9. What will undo dividing by a negative 9? Multiplying. And to balance the equation, you multiply both sides by a negative 9. That's what the rules set up at the top. All right. It's the division property of equality. Now, that cancels out. Negative 9 times negative 2 is a positive 18 equals b. Check it. 18 divided by a negative 9 equals a negative 2. Yes, it does. The next one. Well, I'm just going to multiply both sides by a 5. I'm going to make that as the 5. So you have x equals 60. 60 divided by 5 is 12. Yes, it does. Make sure you're lining up your equal sign. And yes, you have to do it on both sides. What will undo dividing 3? Multiply both sides by 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Put down an 8, carry a 1. So 48 equals A. 48 divided by 3 is 16. Yes, it is. Any questions on how to do 4, 5, and 6? Am I going too fast? Everyone's able to do okay? A little too fast. Well, it's being recorded, so you can always go back and look at the recording. In the next row, our job once again is to isolate the variable. We have a C, a Y, and an M. This says C divided by negative 2 equals 7. To undo dividing, you're going to multiply both sides by a negative 2. C equals negative 14. Negative 14 divided by a negative 2 equals a positive 7. Yes, it does. To undo multiplying by a negative 7, you're going to divide both sides by a negative 7. Y equals a negative 6. Double check. Does negative 7 times negative 6 equal positive 42? Yes, it does. On the last problem, am I going too fast? Some of you don't have all this written down. You need to show your equal signs and everything. To undo dividing 6, you multiply both sides by a 6. Just draw the line and cancel. M equals negative 24. Circle it. Negative 24 divided by 6, does that equal a negative 4? Yes, it does. Now, the next thing you're going to do, I'm going to walk around the classroom to make sure you copied everything because I asked multiple times. Now I have 2 people that have handicaps because they hurt themselves. That's different. But if you're sitting here not doing what I asked, I'm making notes of it. because you need to be doing exactly what I say, and if there's a reason, I need to know to make sure I can figure out what I can help you with. Now, on the back side, I want you to do these problems. This is classwork. It's not homework. So this is classwork right now, and then in a little bit, I will give you your homework. So do this in class, 1 to 17. It doesn't take that long. Do a mental check where it says check your solution. You can do a mental check where you just check it at the end after you circle the answer. Any questions? All right, your homework will be another worksheet that I will give you in just a little bit. Okay.